Hey everyone, and welcome. You know that feeling, right? That little knot in your stomach when you hear about a huge, new, multi-million-dollar software project kicking off at work. Yeah, that anxiety is totally real, because let's be honest, these things go wrong a lot. Well, today we're going to dive into something really interesting, a new approach called vibe coding that might just be the end of these big software nightmares.
All right, so to really get this, we first have to talk about the problem itself. What's the deal here? Why do those words, digital transformation, make so many people in business just cringe?
It's a serious question, and you can bet it's keeping executives up at night. You pour all this time, all this money into a project, and the results? They just don't deliver. But don't just take my word for it. Let's actually look at the numbers.
So check this out. This is from the famous Chaos Report, and wow, it paints a pretty bleak picture. See that little green bar? Only about 16% of big software projects are actually considered a success, on time, on budget, the whole shebang. The majority, over half, are challenged. And then a staggering 31% just flat out fail or get canceled. Those odds are just terrible. And when they say challenged, they're not kidding. For those projects that are struggling, the average cost overrun is a whopping 189%. Think about that. You budget for something, and you end up paying for almost 3 of them. It's just a huge, massive financial black hole.
So what happens when the super expensive software doesn't work out? Well, we fall back on people, right? But that creates its own giant risk. Let's call it the key gear problem. And come on, we've all seen this. There's always that one person who knows how everything actually works behind the scenes. And if that person leaves, the whole process can just stop, dead in its tracks.
And this isn't some minor inconvenience. We're talking about an economic loss just in the Asia-Pacific region alone of an estimated $3.4 trillion because of this IT skills gap and people leaving. That is a systemic, incredibly expensive vulnerability.
Okay, so if these massive, rigid, expensive systems are the problem, what's the answer? Well, that brings us to something really cool, a totally new way of thinking about software.
And this is it, vibe coding. Now, the key thing here is it's not about building another giant, clunky system. Nope, it's about creating what you could call digital glue. These are small, super fast, AI-generated tools that just connect the systems you already use. So, for example, picture a marketer, right? Every morning they have to manually copy new leads from a Google Sheet over to a Salesforce campaign. It's a pain. With vibe coding, they'd literally just say, hey, build me a tool that automatically takes new rows from this sheet and makes them new leads in that Salesforce campaign. And boom, instantly, that tool is just there, working.
And this right here, this captures the whole shift in thinking perfectly. On one side, you've got the old way, the bulldozer approach. Just tear everything down, start from scratch. It's brutal. But on the other side, you've got the digital glue of vibe coding. It's smarter. It respects what you've already built and just makes everything talk to each other better.
I love this quote because it gets right to the heart of it. For years, we've had to twist and change our business processes just to fit the software we bought. That's backwards. The whole point here is that your process should define the tool. You use your expert knowledge of how things should work to create the exact tool you need, right when you need it. Okay, so right about now, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, this sounds a heck of a lot like no-code tools. And look, you're not wrong. There are definitely similarities. But the mindset, the core idea behind it, is actually really different. Let's get into that.
Okay, this slide is super important for understanding the difference. See, no-code platforms are all about answering the question, how can I build this thing without having to write code? The focus is on simplifying how you build, right? Giving you drag-and-drop blocks. Vibe coding asks a totally different question. I just need a tool that does X. The focus is all on your intent. What do you want to achieve? It's really the difference between getting a Lego kit to build a car versus just saying, car, take me to the grocery store.
So, when you boil it all down, it's about who this is for. No code is awesome for sure. It empowers people who aren't coders to build stuff inside a framework. But vibe coding, it's aimed squarely at the process experts. We're talking about the PMs, the marketers, the ops people, the ones who know their workflow better than anyone and just need a super fast way to fix a problem or connect two systems. And this change in thinking from building giant things to just connecting lots of small things, well, it's going to have some huge ripple effects on tech jobs and the whole consulting world.
What we're starting to see is the rise of a new kind of role, the Vibe SI, or Vibe System Integrator. These aren't people trying to sell you one massive, one-size-fits-all product anymore. No, their real value is their expertise in using this digital glue to make all the different tools you're already using work together seamlessly.
And just think about how this flips the script for consultants. I mean, forget about getting a 100-page PowerPoint deck full of suggestions. The new model is way more direct. Step 1, find a gap in a process. Step 2, describe the fix in plain English. And then, this is the amazing part. They can generate a working mini tool right there, on the spot. They're delivering the actual solution, not just a plan for a solution.
And hey, this isn't just some wild theory. The data is backing this up. Gartner is projecting that by the end of 2025, 50% of all new low-code customers will come from outside of IT. They're going to be business buyers. The people who actually live and breathe these business problems every day are finally getting the tools to solve them on their own.
All right, so this all sounds great, right? But how do you actually get started? Let's make this practical. Let's talk about some real first steps you can take.
So here's a super simple starting point no matter who you are. If you're a business leader, call a process leak meeting. The only question you need to ask is, where are we manually copying and pasting data? That's where the gold is. If you're a consultant or you run a SaaS company, ditch the PowerPoint. Make your deliverable a working prototype. And for the rest of us, as individuals, just start small. Find your own tiniest annoyance. Like, seriously, automate organizing your downloads folder. Just solve one small thing. And here's the kicker. The new core skill isn't coding. You don't have to go learn Python. The most important skill is learning how to ask the right questions and describe what you need really clearly to an AI. All that expertise you have in your own job, that's now your biggest technical advantage. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's that we have to stop thinking about our systems as these big, expensive things we buy. The future is about growing them. They should be organic things that you can adapt and evolve piece by tiny piece right alongside your business.
And that's really the question I want to leave you with today. When you think about the problems at your own job, is your next system something you're going to buy, or is it something you're going to grow? Think about it, because the answer really could change everything. Thanks so much for tuning in.